Welcome to Frame.io webinars. This is your place to connect with our team and learn firsthand from our experts. Ask questions live to take your Frame.io account to the next level. Frame.io is a secure cloud-based app that brings it all together with real-time review and approval tools, accelerated file sharing, and instant dailies. It can be tough to know where to start, and we want to help you along the way. Whether you have a small or large team, sign up for a session today for yourself or even your entire staff, and take advantage of real-life support from Frame.io employees who are also industry professionals. We have sessions that cover camera to cloud, our integrations with various NLEs, our powerful web application, and workflow tips to make your production faster and more efficient. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and amazed. Welcome to Frame.io webinars. And that is right. Welcome to Frame.io webinars. Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn, and I'm an instructional media specialist, but also your host today. We have a lot of fun stuff in store for you all. And I don't know if you're in LA, if any folks are in LA, it is raining like crazy. So hopefully you're all staying dry. But I do like to start. I want to leave a couple moments for folks to kind of get into the webinar, kind of get started. But I do want to ask where everyone's coming in from. This is a great opportunity to locate that chat. You will need to make sure you're logged into YouTube. Once you're on that, you'll be able to leave comments and ask questions because we've got folks on the sidelines that are going to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to go over to the comment screen. Tell us where you're coming from. Say hello. We got some New York folks popping in. Cloud first, baby. I love it. Fishtown. No idea where that is, but let me know where that's at. But welcome and thank you for coming. We got South Africa. We got Wales. Hello. We got Brooklyn. We got Massachusetts. Wow, we got a lot of folks. Rochester, Washington, D.C., Denmark. Hello. You folks coming overseas. I don't know how you're doing it. I'm sure it's late out there, but I'm so appreciative that you all hopped on. We've got a really, really fun show for you. We got Brussels, we've got Colombia, we've got Toronto. Amazing. LA. Yes, stay dry out there. It is pouring like crazy. I don't think I've ever seen this much rain in LA before. So keep those things coming in. Germany, St. Louis, we got another New York, got some more Vancouver. This is really, truly amazing. And it's a really great opportunity for us to get together and talk a little bit about camera to cloud. We're going to talk a little bit about Frame.io, but let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen in the session today. So we are talking with our wonderful Prod Squad team. This is our internal production team that Frame.io has that shoots all of our ads and videos that you see all over our social media channels, on our websites. And they really embody and take the true feel and look of Frame.io and bring it to life. And we're going to talk to those folks today because they just did a recent shoot for the Red Digital Cinema internal integration. Yes, that is a new part and a new world of camera to cloud. And our team shot a cloud-first production, which means a cloud-only production. And they're going to talk to you about how that got done. We're going to have a little bit of discussion. But, of course, everyone's favorite, we're going to do a demo. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth, show how they collaborate together. And the best part, it includes you in that process. We're going to include you in that process so you can see how easy it is to obtain this footage, how to interact with this footage, leave comments on it, and also collaborate with the team. Now, before we actually really get started in this, let me actually pull up my little slide here. Ba-boom. There we go. Now we got some fun. Let's go meet our Prod Squad team. That's their names there at the bottom. I'm going to bring them on here shortly, but I want to go over a couple rules really quickly. So we are going to try and keep this around 45 minutes. Then we're going to keep the last few minutes open for Q&A. But for the Q&A portion, we've got some folks on the sidelines. They're going to be able to answer those questions for you as much as they can, but we're going to throw some gems into the Q&A portion at the end, give you an opportunity to talk to our Prod Squad team, get their real-time insight on how these integrations work and how it has changed their workflows forever. But we're going to go ahead and move a little bit forward. Let's talk a little bit about Frame.io. For those of you who are not familiar with Frame.io, let's go into a little bit of the few key points on that. So Frame.io is a real-time review and collaboration tool. In essence, is a centralized asset manager with accelerated file transfers. Now, a really important piece to Frame.io is the ability, and what we're going to talk about today is camera to cloud. And if you're not familiar with camera to cloud is the fastest, easiest, and most secure way to get your video from the set to the people who need to work with it. Now, we offer a lot of support for mobile devices, high-end tech, high-end cinema cameras, DSLR and mirrorless shooters. And we work with a lot of different camera partners in that process. But the next evolution of camera to cloud is now offering an internal option, and that is with Red Digital Cinema. Now, let me go into a little bit about camera to cloud, and just to give you a little bit of a revelation of how camera to cloud kind of works. So this is something very traditional. This is something that we all are very, very familiar with. So you're on set, you collect your stills and your video and your audio. You've got to send that over to your DIT, to which they download that into a hard drive. They'll either transfer it on set, but most of the time you have to ship those drives out, send it out, put it in the hands of shipping couriers to handle your media and footage. Then you have to download that footage again, transcode it, and then make it available for editing for your editorial team. But with Camera to Cloud, we've streamlined that process, and we'll collect on-set stills and video and your audio. And in some instances, we'll be able to combine those together and give you direct proxies. And now with the Red integration, we're going to be able to give you 8K and ProRes files directly into your editorial system. So your editors can actually start working with the full media right there inside of their NLE and give you edits and real-time turnarounds as quickly as possible, as quickly as you all are shooting. And again, the Prod Squad team is going to be able to elaborate a little more on that. But like I said, the next evolution is going to be the Red integration, Red Digital Cinema with the internal camera to cloud integration. Now, some really cool features and specs on this camera is that it does connect via Ethernet and Wi-Fi 5. It's got a direct integration with Frame.io, so we actually have an interface. Red Digital Cinema created an interface directly inside of the camera so that you can actually connect your Frame.io project directly inside the camera, and that's part of our demo. We're going to show you how that's done. We've obviously, our 3D files will go up to Frame.io, but we do also, or the Red camera will also provide ProRes files, HQ, 422, LT, and all the above. Now, like I said, we're going to speak with the Frame.io production team, who have been humbly called the Prod Squad, and they're going to talk to you a lot about their workflow and how everything works with this new cloud first production. So let's go ahead and bring out this team and say hello to them. I'm going to go ahead and bring out Alyssa, who is our cinematographer. Go ahead and say hello, Alyssa. Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. And we also have Charlie Anderson, who works a lot as a DIT on these shoots and has that as his previous experience, but he works a lot now with our C2C partnerships. So he works with a lot of our camera partners to make all this magic happen for you. So Charlie, say hello to everyone in the audience.
Hello, hello.
All right. And of course, we have Vince, who is our Prod Squad director. He works with, the entire team to make sure the look and feel, working with the actors that you have on set, making sure that the feeling we're trying to get across and directing these videos to make them really pop and make them flow really nicely. We got Vince here. Say hello, Vince.
Hey there. Excited to be here.
Awesome. And then, of course, the most important piece of the puzzle to put everything together is the editing process. And we have on our lead editor on our Prod Squad team, which is Sarah Katz. Hello, Sarah. Welcome, welcome.
Yo, yo.
All right. So I want to kind of bounce everybody around in this discussion because I want to focus on a few key things here. So like I said, we've got our team here and I want to meet everyone. But Charlie, I want to talk to you a little bit first. So I'm going to adjust my screen a little bit. Forgive me, folks. And I'm just going to isolate you and I here. So let's remove you. All right, Charlie, let's talk. So you are our senior partnership manager for cloud devices, but you've also worked a lot as a DIT. So you started your career as a DIT, and you still do that a lot on these productions. So let's just open the door up. What does a cloud first production mean to you?
Well, cloud first production for me is essentially, how do I automate processes in the cloud? And by all that is, the first step is, how do I get my files from set to the cloud? And the best thing about this new integration with Red is that's all of that information, all the ProRes proxies and the OCF or original camera files with the 8K RAW are automatically backed up from the camera to Frame.io, which now I don't have to worry about after every single take. I have to, like, if I'm working on a commercial or anything of, long form or short form, I don't have to worry about having to, grab media to be able to download it and then maybe sync dailies or be able to do any sort of color correction, like from the camera mag. I don't have to wait for the camera mag to be able to be full and be downloading. I can actually access that information automatically in the cloud in Frame.io. And if I'm savvy and I have ColorFront as well, ColorFront can actually access a lot of that information that's already in Frame.io, and I can do a lot of my color correction already in the cloud in Frame.io through ColorFront with the CDLs that I've been creating through Pomfret Live Grade or whatever's included on the camera itself.
Amazing. And I'm sure you'll be able to implement, I'm sure you were able to implement a lot of this in that last shoot. And I want to give an audience an opportunity to actually take a look at the video. So we've got a 20-second little clip of the last shoot you all did, and you can see how we're able to still produce these amazing results and not go through the traditional forms of production. So let's go ahead and take a look at that clip. Let me pull it into the screen here.
Introducing Frame.io, now fully integrated into Red V-Raptor and V-Raptor XL. For the first time in history, deliver your content without ever having to download in the field. Frame.io Camera to Cloud, now inside Red V-Raptor and V-Raptor XL. Available today.
Beautiful. All right. So that gives you a lot of idea of what we worked on. Now, if you want to see the full version of that video, we do have it located on our YouTube page. We've also got it on our Frame.io page, frame.io/C2C. You'll be able to see all of the collateral that our team has been making to make all this magic happen. So I want to pivot the conversation a little bit over to Vince. And I want to talk to Vince, and let's actually pull in Alyssa as well. So I'm sure as a director, and like I said, this can go for a cinematographer as well, but you shoot a long day on set. And on this shoot, you had no hard drives, and cards are getting deleted and getting moved around. And, so does your heart skip a little beat when there's no dump of footage or there's no local drive on set? Like, how does that feel as a director and a cinematographer putting all this footage together?
Yeah, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. I wasn't the director on the Red launch video. I was there to support, but this is a brand new workflow. And so we at Frame.io like to practice what we preach. So in shooting the Red launch video, we decided, well, we have to do this the way that we're talking about it. So we didn't back up any footage. We didn't transfer any footage on set. Everything went to Frame.io. All of our 8K RAW, all of our ProRes proxies went up to the cloud as we were shooting. And so at the end of it, we decided, well, if this works, then we're just going to wipe all of our red mags and never transfer them. So the last day of shooting, we had all of our mags there and we wiped them because we knew we had them in the cloud, which of course is very nerve-wracking to do. But we trusted the technology, and we logged into Frame and downloaded some of the clips to make sure they were working and they were accurate. And once we knew that, we're like, what do we need this for? Let's get rid of them.
Absolutely. I'm trying to pull up a photo here. This one was sent by Michael Cioni, and he it's got a little box here. It's pretty entertaining, but let me add it to the screen here. Does that ring a bell for you, Vince and Alyssa? Does that bring back a little old memories?
I don't know, Alyssa, if you wrote this or if Michael wrote it.
Charlie wrote it.
Who wrote it?
I think Charlie wrote it.
Charlie. Yeah. I mean, when you have mags that haven't been transferred and backed up, you put a little piece of tape around it and you mark hot. Well, in our case, were they hot? Because they were backed up. So we had to put a question mark on there to figure out what are we doing? This is we were inventing this workflow as we were going. So this was kind of a joke for us on set as we were going. We were saving the mags and we marked hot question mark because they kind of weren't.
That's funny. Well, Alyssa, I want to jump this over to you. You've been establishing the look and feel of Frame.io Productions and just really done an incredible job. But what do you think has changed since adding this integration as part of your workflow for you as a cinematographer?
I'll speak to C2C in general first. Camera to Cloud, I feel like, has really established a sense of confidence in the content that we're shooting, not just for myself, but in the stakeholders as well. I'm able to pull up my clips on set as soon as they're shot and rewatch takes to make sure, focus is good. The lighting is the way I want it to, without having to do playback on all of the monitors. It's a way that it doesn't interfere kind of with what other people are doing on set. And you can do it at your own pace. So that's been amazing for me, as well as just getting to go home after, at the end of the day, or at the end of a shoot, and be able to watch your footage and make sure that you're happy with everything that you're getting. And it goes obviously well beyond the cinematographer. Like, the directors are able to see this footage, producers, people on set, off set. And so it really just establishes a network of confidence where we're all able to interact and collaborate together to make sure that we're getting the best footage possible. And then with the new integration specifically with Red, being able to see our ProRes and raw files in the cloud instantly is also another confidence booster. Just knowing that everything's getting backed up, we know the footage is there, and we can go in and view it anytime we want. So it's really cool that it's directly inside the camera.
Now, there's not a lot of shoots that are cloud first right now. This is definitely kind of a newer technology. And I feel like this might be important for some people to know, but how has it been introducing key people in these production in the idea, buying them into the idea of an internal integration, but also like being a cloud first production? Was there a steep learning curve for them? Were they receptive to this kind of workflow?
It was really cool and exciting to get to introduce a lot of my crew to this new integration, because a lot of them have been very familiar with camera to cloud for the last couple of years, and we've been using it with the Teradeks and the Atomos monitors and sound devices, for the last few years on all of our shoots. So it was really cool to get to just like tell them for the first time that this is now inside of a camera, because they're able to see this transformation of the technology and where we're headed. And it gives us all kind of a clear picture of what the goal of camera to cloud is in the future. So it was really exciting. In terms of the ease of use, at the prep day, I walked them through, how to connect it via the camera. And it's really seamless and easy. Red did an amazing job designing the menu systems that fit directly into the typical Red menu. And so once you go through it once, it's really simple, and everyone can kind of just do it again once you've done it. So
that's amazing. It's important to understand, there may be hesitation, or some folks that might think it's, a big process to make a cloud first production and to actually work with camera to cloud. And, we want to kind of clear up that confusion and that feeling, because, it is definitely a change, and it's an adjustment, but it's definitely something long-term that we all need to kind of start thinking of a little bit. So I do want to pivot over to Sarah, because she's on the other spectrum of this whole thing. So hello, Sarah. Sarah and I have done a few presentations together at NAB. We did a recent one just a couple weeks ago for Adobe. So like I said, you're on the opposite end of how all this works. So normally editors get proxy files from a set after the entire production is wrapped. So what are some of the advantages that you're finding with the availability of having instant dailies, especially dailies that are R3D and ProRes files?
Yeah, so we actually, the shoot from that promo that you watched that was part of a bigger piece, it was about a 3 or 4 day shoot, and we had 4 different pieces that we needed to cut. Some were due within that timeline of those 4 days, and some were, this video is premiering on YouTube. It just came out a few weeks ago. So we were working with a lot of different assets, and we had a lot of different footage. And at the same time, we had to make sure that we were getting the coverage we needed. And because these assets were coming in immediately, and because they were Red files as well, we started this edit in Resolve, which allowed our colorists to be working on the color corrected shots and getting notes for approval on the color at the same time as we were editing these pieces. So I actually sent a rough first pass. By the time the shoot wrapped, I sent a cut out because of the efficiency, and because the entire team is on set and I was there with them on set. I could pull someone over, or they could walk over to me in between when they were setting up for a different shot. They could just walk over, see where my progress was at. I could ask questions if I needed a shot to be extended a little bit longer. Guess what? I have the shot. I know it needed to be extended longer. The setup's still there. We can rock and roll. So it's been really great at getting everything that I need. And what's amazing is, let's say I wasn't on set, I could just comment on the files and tag someone being like, this is the exact right speed. I just need it for longer. And people on set could know, these are my notes. We need to redo this take. I don't have to be there. I just happen to have been there. But also, the fact that color correction was so ahead of the game, it meant that once our edit was approved, these R3D files were synced up. We were ready to rock and roll. And we actually work off of Lucid Link. So that allowed us all to be able to hook up. We had Ethernet cables. We hooked up directly on set. My assistant editor was connected. Our colorist was connected. We were all working out of the same hub and working out of Resolve together, which was a new experience for me. I'm a Premiere editor through and through, but this was a great opportunity for me to learn another editing software, because I always think that there are so many great advantages to learning all the different ones. And it was a really great learning experience on Resolve because it was so smooth as a whole post-production process.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, in the post world, what changed in your dynamic with your other, key people in post, like your graphics folks, your assistant editors, your colorists? How did that dynamic change with, with having a camera to cloud workflow, and again, also having those large files available to you right away?
It just sped up our timeline. Like everything else that we're doing, it speeds up the timeline. It allows for more people to be ready to rock and roll at the same time, faster together. It allowed us to, because we were doing this during production, again, anything that you still needed to shoot, anything that you need to go back and get, we were there. If the graphics team is like, we need it to be a little wider for a logo in the center, we can do that. We're there. So that's really the advantage, is that you could be live for everything and be working with all the files as the setup is still going on. Really put it into play, see if that's working for the cut. If you're on a different, you're on a different location than the first day, but you needed to match the footage from the first day, everything from the first day is there. And as the stuff from the second day is coming in, we could see if it's working. And that, to me, that's going to save so much time, money, reshoots. It's going to make cuts look smoother. For my own edits, I'm kind of spoiled when stuff is already shot and it's not the shoot day. I'm like, wait, what? I'm thrown off at this point because I've become so accustomed to it. I really love it.
That's amazing. Thank you for giving your insight, and the rest of the team, thank you so much for giving that insight. But let's go ahead and put our money where our mouth is, and let's actually show you all how this actually works. But like I said earlier, I was going to include you all in this part of the demo. So I want to throw up this little QR code for everyone. Now, what this is, it's a QR code. So go and pull up your cameras on your devices. I'm giving everybody a few moments to take advantage of this. And I'm going to add my other Prod Squad folks in here. So this is going to involve everyone. So go ahead and scan that code. What it's going to do is it's going to send you over to a review link, and that review link, it should be accessible through your web browser, or if you have the app, you can then send it over to the app. But this is where you'll actually be able to see the folder of where these camera to cloud files are actually going to end up. And I'm going to pull in Charlie here, who's going to start our demo for us. And we're going to go ahead and show you kind of the Red UI, how to simply set up this camera to cloud connection. And then we'll actually be able to do this kind of remotely. So you're going to have to walk me through this, Charlie. We're going to do this together, okay?
Sure.
But I'm going to give just a moment for folks to grab that QR code. I think this will be enough time for everyone, but get out your phones. We're not collecting any data or anything. Just go and open up your camera, hit that QR, and it should send you right over to the link. I think we're in a good spot. All right, I'm going to move over to Charlie's display here. Now, Charlie, tell us what you've got on the screen right here.
All right, so I have my iPhone connected to my computer, which is how you're seeing this. So this is me, so I can demonstrate it on the actual camera itself. And then I have Red Control Pro here, which is the exact same functionality. If you're not familiar with Red Control Pro, it is a fantastic app made by Red Digital Cinema, and I can remotely control everything on my through my camera that's networked. So I have my camera hooked in through the, let's see if I can display it really quickly. I have my camera hooked in here through USB to this QNAP Ethernet adapter here, which is a 5 gigabit per second Ethernet adapter, and I have gigabit internet at home. So that means I have 1,000 up and 1,000 down in terms of upload speed and download speed. So in terms of bandwidth and what you need for this to work, you essentially need to have the same. If you want things to upload in real time, you need to have the exact same bandwidth upload speed as you would for megabytes per second or megabits per second. Sorry, for uploading files with ProRes 422LT. It's roughly about 82 megabits per second. So you'd need that to upload in real time. Obviously, the more bandwidth you have, the faster the uploads, et cetera, et cetera. But we're actually able to fully saturate a full 1 gig upload with this Red connection. So, well, I guess we can go through and Shawn, you wanna help me authenticate this device? We can do it in real time.
Let's do it. I've got my screen pulled up here with that project.
So what I'm going to do, if you want to come back to me, Shawn, real quick, I'll walk through the actual on camera, and you'll see it happen here in. So what do I have here in the Red Control Pro? This is just showcasing the same Frame.io settings that you have here. And the reason why I have this up is you'll be able to see this happening, and you actually see me do this live here with the upload speeds and seeing everything on how fast this works in real time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into menu, and down here we have a setting called communication. Select that and go to cloud upload here. Select that, and then we have and make sure that cloud upload is enabled. If you notice, if I turn this off here, also it updates in Red Control Pro here. I can also do that here. If I click cloud upload, it will automatically turn on in the camera as well. So now I'm going to go to Frame.io down here, and this is going to ask me to connect. Right now I'm in a disconnected state. If I was to click here, I can see that here as well. And if I hit connect, this is going to generate a 6-digit code and ask to generate that code so we can connect it to a Frame.io project. So Shawn, once you put this, if you go back to your project, and you're going to go to the C2C Connections tab.
Yes, over here.
And you're going to go to add a new device. Yep. Hit the device ready to connect. And that code is 157342. And now what's happening is I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Connecticut. Shawn is in Los Angeles, California. He's from here. You can see on the screen it has my VRaptor XL's serial number. Shawn is the person who's doing the authentication, and there's the project in which it is going to. So once you hit authorize, let's say it's ready to go. Once it connects, you can hit finish. Now go, Shawn, for this demonstration. Well, that's fine. You can change this after the fact. Go to you already have it renamed and whatnot, but normally I would come up with a name of whatever you could rename this as it comes up after the fact. Once you go to set expiration there.
Sure.
So you can do this when you authenticate, but just for the purpose, today is the 10th. Once you set this for tomorrow, so say January 11th at say 1 p.m. That's 1 a.m., but that works fine. So
I got it. PM right there.
Oh, it says PM. I can't see it from here. Okay, great. So now what happens is like I can set this up, and what'll happen at 1 p.m. tomorrow is it will automatically deauthorize the device, so I don't have to forget. So if you're renting it to a friend, or if you're in a rental house and you have this sort of thing, you can use that to automatically set it up so that we don't have to remember to deauthenticate the device. So now if you come back to my screen.
Okay, I'm going to jump back over to here. Hold on, let me get over to that folder. Stand by. Okay.
You can see here, I have disconnect here on my camera. I have the state in which it is connected, the project, which is CSC Fun Times, and Shawn is the creator. Now, I also have that here too on my Red Control Pro. So if I come back to Cloud Upload, what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to Upload File Types. So here's what's available in the Upload File Types. Right now, I just have MOV because I have ProRes proxies enabled in the camera to record. So when I record, it's only going to upload the proxies. But because I have the bandwidth, I'm actually going to select R3Ds. And you know what? Since this camera is also going to record audio, I'm going to select wave. And if I was to do any sort of color in the camera through Red Control Pro, I can do that. So for that just demonstration portion, I'm going to select CDL LUT. So that's actually going to upload my D-log that I have, or my 3D LUT that's in the camera that I'm using, as well as any color decision list or lift, gamma, gain aspects that I'm using in the actual camera itself to do any sort of like stylized shooting. All right, so now once this is here, we can come back to the menu, and you can see here I'm shooting off speed. So I'm shooting at 60 frames a second, 2398. I'm shooting 8K 16:9, plus I'm also shooting LQ. I'm shooting R3D LQ as well as 422 LT. So now if I hit record here, I'm going to do a little bit of slow motion stuff here. I'm going to cut, and then you can see there's going to be a little icon right here that's uploading.
Oops, sorry, I changed the camera. I'm gonna go back. Sorry.
And then you can also see here on my screen, this is how long it's taking. So you can see I'm getting an upload speed about 600. It was about a gig or so. It's uploading. It's going to take less than 10 seconds to upload. And you can see it says megabits per second here. And this is now uploading, and that is now done. So now, Shawn, if you go back to your project, and everyone back at home should be able to see this as well. So here you have a folder for video. You have Charlie's camera, which is the renamed camera. There is the file there, so AO5, CO1. And now you have a 3D LUT, you have a CDL file, you have an RTN metadata file, and you also have, and you have a WAV file too, if we were recording audio, putting it back into the camera. And now you have the slow motion in perfect parity with the R3D, which is the first time it's ever been possible with camera clouds being able to do true slow motion workflow. So let's go ahead and play that, Shawn, show the case that.
Smooth. Look at that.
Buttery 60 frames a second.
Buttery smooth. Now, this is a great opportunity. What Charlie was saying is if you're on a browser, go ahead and refresh your page. If you're in the app, go ahead and swipe down. You should be able to refresh that if you're not seeing that folder there. But I do see some comments coming in. And boom. So Vince and Alyssa have already left their notes. So you get a little idea of how they communicate together. And I believe they put some annotations on as well. So you kind of see how that works. But yeah, I see some folks in the audience kind of chiming in. And this link's downloadable. So if you want to download Charlie's, buttery smooth 60 frame, shot here, absolutely go for it. That's why we have that here. But yeah, Alyssa and Vince, this is amazing stuff. How does it feel to be able to like just go in, make comments right on your dailies, talk with your editors, all while you're still shooting and being on set?
Yeah, I mean, this is a paradigm shift. We realize this is a relatively new way of working. Luckily for Prod Squad, we've been using this technology for a little over 2 years before it was released. So we're starting to get used to it. But look, the way things used to work in the past and the way they work on a lot of different productions is you have to trust that your footage it looks the way that you wanted it to look, and that it recorded on the mag, and that it got backed up, and that the drive gets to where it needs to go. And so this is an opportunity to touch your footage look at how quick this happened, right? We're able to look at this, interact with it, see the quality of it, annotate, comment, share this link with people. And that really, the power of that is really unlimited. Like you as a filmmaker, as a content creator, you get to start doing whatever you want to do with your footage because a lot of boundaries have just been broken down and you have access to your footage immediately. So, as a storyteller, it's awesome. I walk around set when I'm directing with my phone in my hand the whole time, or my iPad. And I just can pull up clips at any point and look at what we just shot and know, great, we got what we needed, we're ready to move on, or maybe we need to make some adjustments, right? Like the power of that really just allows you to be more creative while you're shooting and not have to wait till after you've left set or left your location or finished shooting to make adjustments or to know what you got. It's really incredible.
And another quick little example that Vince and I and Michael use all the time is for lens testing. And so I'm able to go to test lenses at rental houses and shoot takes to the cloud. And the director can kind of participate in that test without having to be there. And so we'll be able to go back and forth about characteristics of lenses, what we like and don't like in real time. So it just, bridges the gap between not being able to to actually be there in person with me, especially if it's a quick turnaround shoot.
I mean, just having this at your fingertips, I don't know. I'm pretty sure y'all won't be able to go any different, go any other old ways. But, it's hard to go back once you've had this feel and touch of how this technology works. But I want to go full circle here, and I want to take it over to Sarah, who, we got clips in Frame.io. We can definitely collaborate with our team. But how do we take that a step further? How do we make this easier for our editors out there to avoid them having to do a bunch of extra work? Well, let's pull up your screen, Sarah, and show us a little bit of that process of how you bring those clips into Premiere. And Charlie, if you want to take a few more shots on your camera, we can see those kind of come in live as well too.
Yeah, I'll do that while you guys do the demonstration. And then while you guys are shooting, I'm going to shoot some stuff offline. I'm going to pull Ethernet, shoot a bunch of extra clips around my room right here. And you'll see those then populate once I reconnect to the internet.
Sweet. Love it.
And I will say, as we're on set and all these files are coming in, since Frame.io is on my phone and on my watch, as an editor, I'll get a vibration on my wrist when I know a new shot is uploaded. So it's actually great. It's another way of working together. So Premiere, this drop-down menu, you could always add it by just going down and finding actually, it's built in now. I forgot. So it's not the same as last time. Anyways, so it mirrors the web browser, and this is today's date because it's organized by date, really simply. Charlie's camera, which you renamed, and then this is what Charlie's already uploading new stuff. So if I wanted to just download this, well, actually the R3D and this. So there's this download button right here. And I could just download them. Like if I was just downloading the batch to Lucid, I could just do that. But I want to import them as well. So import 2 files. The whole point of this is that I'd like the original, but you have choices. And then I'm just going to drop it on my desktop, but you could place it wherever you want. And then they start to come in. So my Wi-Fi isn't as great as everyone else's, but you saw the immediacy in this first take. That was just amazing. And now it's right here. But let me go back to the Frame browser. And the other clip is coming in pretty quickly. And then I will have both. Let's say this was a larger file. I could start working with the proxy and then link it back up. I've got choices here, but to be honest, this isn't that slow for a batch download. I think we got a little spoiled.
It's worth reiterating what Sarah is downloading is 8K RAW from Charlie's camera on the East Coast. She's in LA and she just downloaded and is importing an R3D file into Premiere without transferring hard drive. That's what the power of this can be. It's really, really incredible.
Yeah, thanks for giving us that kind of quick glimpse. I know we're amazing as it is, we're already getting close to our time, but I want to make sure we cover an important section of this. And I noticed a few questions that popped in, and one was actually really interesting by iWard. Basically, if the Wi-Fi barfs on set, where does C2C leave off in keeping that going? So, Charlie, I know you were talking about pulling the plug on that and taking a few shots. But let's talk a little bit about the data and how that kind of works. And then let's go over that little bit part of the demo, because I'd love for people to see that if you are not on network internet and you're shooting with this camera, you are able to still upload those at a later point when you get back on internet. So I'm going to have them demonstrate that a little bit as well. So let's talk a little bit about set networking. Can we talk a little bit about, you talked earlier about that adapter that you had to connect to Ethernet to USB. You talk a little bit about this little device that you're using now that we have a better picture of it up here.
Yeah, so that's a QNAP 5 gigabit per second USB-C to Ethernet adapter. You can also use I believe this is a Sabrent. I'm totally butchering that name. I apologize. That's also 5 gigabit per second. Both the Sabrent and the QNAP are what Red recommend in terms of be able to use for adapters, but you can use any USB-C to Ethernet adapter. And I believe Red can do up to 2,500 megabits per second for hardline, and I believe that the upload speed over Wi-Fi is around 250 megabits per second is what we had been testing. But in terms of recording times and whatnot, so you see here with your sizes on the slide that Sean's using for your red code. So if you're shooting 17:9 or 16:9 red code LQ, which is typically what I shoot for everything that I do for music videos and short films and everything like that. Once I'm able to plug in, it'll essentially will be able to upload in real time with the, or just slightly past slower than real time with files when shooting red code at 8K. So, or if I'm shooting 6K for Super 35, this will definitely be able to get there in real time, even with really fast internet for Wi-Fi. So you don't necessarily have to have Wi-Fi plugged in, but the nice thing is, as you in between takes of what you're shooting, these files are able to upload in the background automatically. So you don't think about it. Things are just being able to upload as you shoot. So.
And I do want to ask you another question though, is who would normally take on this role in a production? If somebody's trying to make their production cloud first, who would be your key primary people to reach out to help maybe implement this on a production?
So I'm a little biased in saying DITs because that's what I used to do. And before coming to work to Frame.io, I was doing a lot of the on-set internet capabilities for streaming with cellular through like similar to companies such as Scalera Digital, where they provide very high bandwidth multi SIM card bonded cellular connections. The same concept. And as we see 5G become more prevalent with upload speeds and just being available, that's going to be where a lot of people are going to be using. So if you're running around as yourself and you just want to use it, you can either use your phone hotspot if you're in a pinch, or if you have something like a Netgear Nighthawk, which is like a little hockey puck type internet hotspot with like 5G, you can easily be able to upload if you have the cellular connectivity and the upload speeds to be able to upload even just the ProRes right from wherever you are. Yeah. So, but for me, I would always like to have DITs be the case because we're pretty much digital imaging technician. Technician is in the job description, and we're pretty much like the tech gurus on set, if you would. So we're but a lot of the stuff that we do for managing stuff on set is it is adding another thing for us to do. But for somebody to take this responsibility on, I believe that DIT will be one of the people to one of those roles to be able to take on that responsibility because we're already very tech savvy with regards to all that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, you definitely talked about popping that Ethernet cord out. I'm going to pop back to your screen here. So I'm assuming you took some takes already and you're just going to plug back in your Ethernet.
I already did it while you guys were doing that. I had already was already unplugged, but just to showcase it even further, I'm just going to undo it right here. I'm going to record another take or two. As you can see, my Red Control Pro didn't update because I unplugged it. And what's going to happen is even if I do this just for stuff, I'm going to do another quick take and record a couple more. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this guy back in. And this will take roughly about 15 seconds or so to upload. But then you'll see right here, once it reconnects, it'll get an IP address. I don't have to do anything else. You see my camera already popped in. This will be going. It's got 3.1 gigs. And look at that. It's already uploading and reconnecting. And you can see that happening right here on Red Control Pro. I didn't do anything. I just plugged it back in. So the nice thing is I'm using a hardline Ethernet, but you can also do this on Wi-Fi as well. So if I wanted to, what I could do is just change this. Actually, no, I'm going to do it in Red Control Pro because it's right here. So if I go to upload file types, I'm going to turn off this. I'm going to enable Wi-Fi on my connections. And once that's re-enabled, and I reconnect to my home Wi-Fi, I can just upload all the ProRes 422 LT, and that'll be what I'm looking for. So I'll do that, and I'll record some more stuff, and you'll see it. And there's my wife.
All right. All right. Well, I do want to open it up. I know we're getting close and I want to leave a little time for Q&A, but I want to open this up to the group. What would you want to tell producers or companies that are putting together projects and thinking about going into cloud first productions? What would you want to tell them? What advice would you want to give them? Let's set them up for success. Cause we all know that this is definitely the pathway where a lot of things are going, and it's going to be cloud-based, and we're trying to spearhead and pioneer that. So, what are some things that you could tell them?
Was that to me? I'm sorry.
This is to the whole group. It's just like, what would you tell, producers or companies that are thinking about going cloud first? What advice would you give them?
For me, I would say that the best thing that I would do is, if you want to go with a cloud first approach to things, because this is where we see the future of productions in general in the next 10 years. So this is something we're very much at the forefront of this happening, and we're paving a way to make this more accessible for filmmakers and creatives across the world. Is the hardest part we find about camera to cloud in general is just understanding network compatibility and just understanding how networking works, because just everyone has, for the most part, has internet at home, but bringing internet to the set is a completely new idea for a lot of different productions, a lot of different people. And then how do you make it seamless and autonomous in the background? So the idea is, while we've developed technology to help creatives to not interrupt the workflow of filmmaking, there still has to be some education on how that all works in terms of getting set up. It's like trying to go to a full-on TV show or movie without having a single day of prep. It's just, you're just setting yourself up for failure at that point. Whereas like the more time that you can get in preparation and learning about things and setting yourself up for success in prep, the better you'll have success with this program.
Yeah, beautifully said. Any other context anybody else wants to add to that? People that might be starting out a little bit nervous about implementing this kind of thing. Charlie, you did say it really well, but I want to make sure that if anybody else wants to add anything to that, I provide that space for y'all.
I think one of the things that we do, we try to get all this tech stuff out of the way for our productions on our prep day. So getting our devices authenticated and connected to networks and working through those troubleshooting tasks when we're prepping cameras. That way, the idea is once you get on set and your priority is to capture whatever it is you need to capture, if everything's going smoothly, which in most cases for us it has been, with the exception of just trying to get reliable internet, your crews really shouldn't have to work any differently. And I know there's a bit of a hesitation to introduce new technology when you're shooting something that's important and it's your job and you've got clients and important stuff on the line. So what we like to do is just prep early and make sure everything's working, and then when you get on set, your workflow shouldn't have to change a whole lot, and then you get the benefit of having access to your footage, and you can give that to whoever you need to, or you can lock it down. But really, the power is in your hands, and how you work on set shouldn't have to change a whole lot.
Yeah,
and no more hard drives. Like I have them from like previous life. I don't really use them. I don't need to worry about the media being downloaded to a hard drive and the hard drive being sent to me, and then me carrying the hard drive around if I'm working in different locations. So I just financially, if you guys could think about the lack of hard drives you will need to buy, and then the amount of not needing to express ship it anywhere, like there's just, it cuts out so much time. So, and I love to not clunk up my desk with all different hard drives. So
yeah. I really appreciate all of your inputs. I'm just glancing through the Q&A box just to see what questions we've got. But you guys really provided a great discussion. I think a really important piece to the last bullet point on this slide here is we need pioneers and we need partnerships. So, the only way for us to help drive this forward is when you use this technology and challenge us, give us feedback, really put this through the ringer, because we want this to work for you. There's no other benefit to us except that it needs to work, and it has to work, and it's going to work. So definitely take advantage of this technology that's out there. For those of you that do have a Red Raptor, and VRaptor XL, sorry. Make sure you download that beta. It is available. Folks on the sidelines, if you please throw that into the chat, that would be amazing and helpful. That way people can just click right on it. And also too, for you Komodo users, the beta is also available for Komodo users as well. So the internal Red digital cinema camera integration is on your Komodos as well. So hopefully that is some exciting stuff that you can take advantage of. Now, one question that did pop up from the group is, and I want to throw this out there, anyone can answer. What if your battery dies mid-upload? So your brick dies.
Do it?
Oh, do you want to try it?
I'll
go
show
for
you.
it.
I'll show you right now. Let me bring this right here.
Camera.
So I got this. I'm just going to record on my camera right here. And then I'm just going to literally take the power and pull the power. I've accidentally just killed my camera. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Let me plug it back in. So now what's going to happen, this is going to continue. Once it reconnects, powers back up, it's going to pick up where that upload left off. So it may not, because I was still recording. So that might be a little iffy, but if it was mid upload, it'll pick up as if it lost internet connection.
And will it continue from the clip that already started, or will it just create a new clip and delete the old one? How do you have it? It
doesn't delete media. It will probably just pick up where it left off from there.
Got it. Another question came in about, I know we talked earlier with Sarah regarding, NLEs, and yes, we use Premiere as an example, because a lot of our team uses Premiere to edit these projects. But Frame.io and Camera to Cloud will virtually work with any NLE. Primarily, we've got our integration with Premiere and After Effects, but we also have Final Cut Pro 10 and Resolve, and you're able to also bring in your comments into Avid, but we don't have a direct integration with them. But for right now, Resolve, Final Cut Pro 10, and Premiere and After Effects, they do have an integration built in, so you will be able to get those live dailies directly inside of your NLE. You won't have to navigate to the Frame.io web browser to do that. Otherwise, if you're working on an NLE outside of those three, you could definitely take advantage of Frame.io Transfer, which is a incredibly fast uploader and downloader. They can work on both Mac and PC. That will be able to allow you to download your footage and drag that into your NLE. So you are not limited by any of these applications to make Camera to Cloud work. So you can make that all work in the future here. And another great question is, how much is Camera to Cloud? Does anybody in the group want to take a stab at that? It is absolutely included with your subscription. So if you have a retail plan, whether it's a pro or team, you do get C2C. Obviously, enterprise plans get Camera to Cloud. So it is not an additional cost on your account. You just need to make sure you have a paid account of Frame.io. Now, also, if you are taking advantage of our other Camera to Cloud technologies, you will need some other devices in order to connect those to the camera. But if you have the VRaptor and VRaptor XL, and now the Komodo, you're able to use that internal integration now as well. So, yeah. And then, any other purchases that need to be done in order to have on-set internet and data on your production, that will be required as well.
Shawn, someone asked about Lucid and do I have to download the files to my desktop? No, I just download everything directly to Lucid. And because we need internet everywhere anyways, I hardwire regardless if I'm on set or if I'm working from my edit bay. I hardwire for Lucid Link so that it could work smoother, but I don't download anything onto my desktop. And yes, Premiere needs some space in order to work. And there is always some space on my laptop for that. But all the files are being downloaded directly to Lucid, which I am connected to through the Ethernet. So no hard drive.
Yeah, and one other point I wanted to bring up with being able to use Camera Cloud and having it included, but I do want to let you know that if you do have a Creative Cloud subscription, you do have or Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, you do have a Frame.io plan included with that, which gives you Camera Cloud technology or abilities in that plan, which you don't normally get with the free plan. So if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, make sure you check out your Frame.io included plan as well. So that way you could take advantage of a lot of this tech. And Sarah, thank you for answering that question about Lucid Link. I think we've got time for one more question. What if I don't have a red camera? What do we do? Anybody in the group?
Well, if you don't have a red camera, we have plenty of devices that we started Camera Cloud with 18 months ago almost, where actually almost 2 years ago coming up, where you could use a Teradek Cube 655, a Sur 4K, an Atomos Connect, and be able to use the SDI input. So like if I have this guy, which is my Red Gemini, this does not have internal networking capabilities, but I can use a Cube 655 or a Sur 4K or an Atomos device to be able to come off the SDI and still be able to get time code and clip name out of the SDI and be able to use that with all of my previous devices.
Beautiful. Well, I know we're at time. Y'all, thank you so much. This was an incredible session. If you want to know more about Camera Cloud, though, please visit our website, frame.io/Camera or C2C. And if you want to know more about the Red integration, particularly, you can go ahead and type in Red at the end there. But our URL is on the top. Any folks on Q&A, please throw that into the chat. But overall, thank you all so much. Oh, my goodness. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. Such great insight. And I hope a lot of folks in the call took advantage of a lot of this information. You could definitely check out our support pages, support.frame.io. Again, our Camera to Cloud pages there for assistance. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Say goodbye, everyone. We'll do a little wave. Bye-bye, everyone. And thank you all for coming. Have a great day. We'll see you later.